BTC floating around 59.5, pretty much where we closed the CME on Friday. So a relatively quiet weekend with that in that regard. But I have spotted something out here in the markets there. And the last time this thing happened, we had 160% move from BTC. Now, we're not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I'm going to show you something very interesting here. There's a couple of other bullish signs teed up for BTC. And then I'm going to give you an update on some of our trades, TON, Solana, we've got Rune, and I've got a couple of other things floating around for you guys to tee you up for the week ahead. So we got tons to talk about here. Let's get right into this. And remember, I'm normally on Banter Plus. We're on the main channel tonight. And if you do like some of this action, well, naturally, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. But you can catch me Monday to Friday, 2 hours earlier, Monday to Friday on Banter Plus. So check us out over there. And right, let's take a look at Banter Bubbles and see, well, a little bit of green floating around here. But again, it hasn't been a super exciting weekend. We did see TON move nicely. So we're going to cover this TON trade that we took last week. We're going to cover that. I'm actually going to close that live here with you guys because I think that thing is now due for some kind of pullback. And you can see there on the left, 3.7%. Look at DYDX. This thing has come alive again from that massive weekly level. And Rune, is it time to short Rune? We are sitting at a major rejection area here again, and 3.3% pump today. So Rune is an interesting one as well. I've got that one for you, and I'm going to tell you why I quite like a short there on Rune. But let's get into BTC and just see where we are. So right now, BTC here on the 4 hour, and you can see it's been a pretty quiet weekend. We had that CME close roughly around this region over here, and we have just come back and we've pretty much tapped that little zone again. So right now, a level that you can watch is 59,500. Nice little area here for us. You can see we've just broken. This was previous resistance. Okay, so interesting here. We have popped through this level. So let's see, can we hold this 59.5? So watching this region closely now. Then upside, what do I have here? I've got the 61,600. That is obvious. That's our 50-day MA. And then the big dog is 62K. Now, this was tapped 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times here. So look, 5th knock on the door. Expect another rejection. If we do break through, wow, it's going to be some great support for us to use later on for some potential longs. But right now, 61.5 to 62K, that is big resistance for us. Short term, 59,500, and then a big level here, lower down for me. This is our anchored VWAP here, 57,500, ties in with our 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗔𝗥𝗚 fib, ties in with our horizontal. So we got a lot of action here, 57,500. So I'd say these are the levels that I'm watching most closely now in the short term. Naturally, there will be a couple of levels here. You'll have a 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗔𝗥𝗡 and a 618 fib and those types of things. But the big ones for me are the ones that you see here on the screen. This is what I'm watching in the next 24 hours. Let's see if we can get a little bit of action out of these guys. Okay, and let's just look at what's going on here before we get into some of these alts and some of BTC. I just wanted to highlight this. Dan dropping this, saying this is all fine. The fact that the US national debt is $35 trillion. That's $104,000 per citizen. It sounds like a shit ton. I don't know about you guys in America, but it sounds pretty heavy. Okay, it sounds pretty dangerous, but this guy seems to be okay while the house is burning down. And the S&P also, everything's burning down around the S&P, but fuck me, this thing is flying. And I mean, are we going to break all-time highs again this week? Is it going to happen? So S&P just grinding higher. You can see our all-time high here, 5,600, and where are we? 5,660. That is just around the corner now. We at 5,550. Can this be the week? Are we going to double top here and then send this thing to absolute zero? Let's wait and see how that's going to be. S&P traders, if you are scalping, support 5,450. That is what you need to be watching. Johnson says no more rejection, just up from here on. Red rocket. Okay, he likes the red rocket. Let's see what else we got going on. So Pyramid Greed Index, this thing doesn't go away. Okay, this level, we are at the same levels now when BTC was below $30,000. Look at this chart here from Quinton. And you can see this is $30,000. That is the level that we were at when we were at these levels. It's complete fear in the market. We back at 31. Did anyone notice yesterday we hit 25, which is normally a nice little buy signal. When you get this fear and greed hitting low 20s and things like that, there's often a sign that there is a little reversal coming. And you would have noticed that some of these altcoins, for example, started bouncing a little bit this weekend. But 31, the market is in fear. And you can see it here in this chart that there's a lot of fear around here. The guys are nervous. Okay, these altcoins are getting smashed all over the place. And I would say market sentiment, as a whole is not great at the moment. And Kelly Greer just giving us a little bit of spice. Yes, he's saying if you're depressed about crypto because stocks are almost fully recovered and BTC is still 20% from the highs versus the S&P, consider that BTC has actually survived an absolute onslaught of supply since June. Okay, $12 billion worth of supply got dumped on the market. I mean, that was pretty intense what has happened here to BTC. And she's calling them the four horsemen. It was the Germans. Okay, remember that. That was dramatic. We had the Mt. Gox situation. We had Genesis and we had the US government. So there's a little thread she's written here. If you want to read her story, here's what she's given you guys. You can follow her. This is Kelly Greer. But it's like you're trying to fart against thunder, basically. I mean, we got all these guys just offloading. I would say it's a miracle that we are even sitting where we are at the moment. So from that perspective, things are okay. And then Quinton reminding us again, this is key information. If you're feeling bored in the market, if you're feeling like things just aren't going your way, look at this. 2016, Bitcoin halving, 182 days sideways chop. 2020, 161 days sideways chop. 2024 halving, we've had 120 days sideways chop so far. Okay, he's reminding us that there's time. Okay, we could be slapped around for, another couple of months. He's saying the US elections are 78 days away. Is that really going to be the catalyst that drives the market? Because right now, this week, for example, what is the catalyst that's actually going to send us to 70K? What is the catalyst that's going to send us north and get us all hyped up and excited again? So if you take a look at what Quinton is saying here, 78 days. I mean, that could be reasonable amount of chop while we wait for some of this action. So yeah, it's. I mean, you can feel the pain. You feel the pain. It's chop city all day long. And look, let's get into a couple of things here with BTC. I was talking about a CME gap here on the 4 hour, and you can see the CME closed here 59,580. On Friday. Okay, so typically you want to see these CME gaps close. So it would make sense to me if we come and we float around this region. Okay, anyway, in this area, that would typically just shut that gap down and then just, get it done. You can see when we do have gaps here on the CME, you can see what happens here. They tend to come and close these gaps whenever there is a gap open. Look at that, how they come and close these gaps. So that is typically something that you are going to look for. And then from a liquidation perspective, I like to watch this on the 1 day. I like to get an idea as to where these market makers can take us in the next 24 hours. So I like to go to the 1 day on CoinGlass and just take a look. And you can see we've got some really nice clusters. These things always tie up so nicely on the weekends for me. And you can see our absolute lows here, 58,000. That's a nice one. And then 57K to the downside. So these are nice levels, 58, 57, and then a little bit higher up. Look at this cluster here, 61,500. And then if they do press us a little bit further up, 62,500. So look how nicely that ties in to this BTC chart here. Our 58, a little bit down here at the 382, and then our 62K region is just there under that 200-day moving average. So some interesting levels here if they are going to send us and start cleaning out some of the bulls and some of the bears if they really want to take us out. I see Fahad is talking about Celestia. It's above the tight daily and weekly pivots. Now remember, guys, Easy Algo, that is always an exciting event at the end of every week. The Easy Algo traders, what we're talking about. Don't forget, tomorrow on my show, I'm going to have Power Friend from Easy Algo on the show telling you what's happening with the latest weekly pivots. Now, these pivots, you get the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, and it's always a big deal. You want to see that weekly pivot. You want to see where these altcoins are going to close above or below the weekly pivot. And that normally tees us up for quite an exciting week because it tells us what the trend is going to be for the coming week. So that gives you a nice idea. So Easy Algo traders, big day later on today. Pivot time coming later for you guys. And right, let's get into some things. Okay, why do I think Bitcoin can pump 160%? Well, it could take a time. Okay, we know that. It could take 78 days like you saw on Quinton's tweet there. This thing could take a while. But I was looking at this chart earlier today, and the last time we saw a chart like this is from Mr. Crypto, by the way. He says Bitcoin is heavily being shorted. Okay, the funding rates are at the lowest point of the year. at the moment. So users who have short positions pay a fee to the users who have long position. You actually making money to be long at the moment. Look at this. Look at these funding rates here. And the last time they were this heavily negative, BTC was sitting at around about $27,000. What happened then? After these funding rates flipped, we went north, we went to our highs, we went to our 71, 72K. That was a 160% move. Look at us now. We are sitting heavily negative here in this region. For me, that is a big sign that there's a potential bottom here in some of these, well, in BTC as a whole and the market as a whole. And then I've got this little bullish crossover here on the MACD playing out for us from trader 𝗪𝗪𝗓. Okay, he's showing us the MACD and he's showing us some bullish divergence. Now, let me show you on the daily what he's done here. Look at this. This is our MACD indicator at the bottom. And we have touched on this indicator before. And what happens here when you get a little crossover? For example, in this region here in May, you can see what happens here. This green band starts getting a little bit thicker. And look what happened in May. We had a nice little push up. Then we had a little crossover early July. Look at this. This green band started turning nice and thick. And what happened? We had a nice little push higher. Now you can see we've got a crossover happening currently. This is now. Okay, and we've got our first little sign here of a green band. Is this green band going to start pushing higher for us? Is this going to be the little trigger that just drives us back to this rising trend here? Maybe push us into 68K for now. So that perspective, things are looking relatively bullish. And then he did say he can see some bullish divergence. Well, essentially, you can see the price is going down and the oscillator is actually trending higher at the moment. You can see there's a low here and we are trending higher up at the moment. So that is some bullish divergence there. So what do we need to do? We just want to make sure we print some higher lows here. As long as we're printing even down into this 54 region, even down to 52, we could still see that same result for you guys. So there's a couple of bullish things out there, and I like to tie it in. I mean, with the fear and greed so low, okay, that's a sign that's telling. Look at this. We get the thumb, and when that fear and greed is sitting down there, we got the MACD crossover. We got these negative funding rates here. There's a lot of signs here for us to tell us that we could get some kind of short-term move. Again, they don't have to send us to Valhalla, but the signs are there. You know, we've had enough pain, especially the altcoin traders. Aren't you tired of getting slapped around and abused all day long from these market makers? It's time that we got our moment here. We need a week or two to shine. And total 3, just a reminder what total 3 is. Total 3 is all of the altcoins or the crypto market, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. And you can see this thing is still looking decent. Hello, sir.
Did you mean all of the pieces? Did you mean all of the pieces of shit? I'm kidding.
Like Celestia, like XRP. Yeah. What do you mean? What are you talking about, guys? I've got a Litecoin chart for you today. I literally have Litecoin for you guys. It's gonna be a banger. Stick around for Litecoin. It's coming in hot. And I mean, Litecoin was a bit of a mover. So let's look at some Litecoin. Okay, so total 3. This is total 3 on the weekly, and we've been looking at this one the last week on my show just to keep track as to what is going on with these altcoins. And you can see we are on track to push to our trend high. That will be a nice little injection in these altcoins. That's a few percent there in the market for us. Get us a nice little push. And Jay is reminding you, full moon tomorrow, guys. We need to look at our moon cycles. I'm gonna bang out those moon cycles tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna pull out the moon cycles tomorrow for Jay, and let's take a look. Let's see. Okay, so he's saying the bears are gonna get wrecked tomorrow because of the full moon. Well, isn't that gonna tie in beautifully then to this bullish crossover on the MACD? Isn't that gonna tie in beautifully to a nice little push there on BTC? But let's not digress. Luba says Ray is on the moon, and let's not digress. We can see there is a target higher up here, total 3. Okay, this is the altcoin market. We are looking for a little bit of a push. I think it would be totally reasonable here to expect about an 8% push here on total 3 just to get up to that descending trend there, and then they can reject us. They can send us back to hell if they really want to do that, and then we can come and test these levels one more time before we get all excited again. So right now, that is what we're looking for. And James is saying, and he says, false move up incoming, then smash back down directly afterwards. Okay, guys, you hear the drill. Okay, look out. And remember, if you are watching and there is some kind of pump coming, okay, look out for your big resistance areas. Look out. They come and they want to flush you guys both ways. They'll take you out both sides. Look for that false move. Look for that rejection at a nice little region there. Okay, let's talk ETH. Nothing. Okay, this is like watching absolute paint dry. This is painful to me. And I mean, can we say this is almost back to shitcoinery? I mean, this thing does nothing. Okay, so ETH traders, 0 changes in the last 7 days for you. Okay, 2,500 to 2,350. Nothing's happening here. No changes. That's your buy level. If they do push it in there, that is where I'm grabbing more ETH. And if they do want to send us to hell, well, you've got 2,100. Okay, I would expect a bounce in that region. Okay, if they do send us down to that region, I don't think they send us straight through. I think they bounce us first and then send us to hell if they want to do something so mean and evil to us. But right now, 2.5 to 2,350, that's a buy zone for me until proven otherwise on ETH. Okay, that is my game plan on ETH. And then Sol. I mean, this is interesting. So, some guys will come here and say, oh, we got a trend break on Solana. We must send this thing. But my only issue here is there's a shit ton of resistance in front of Solana. So I can't get excited about this at all. Okay, Solana's got a ton of resistance here. Look at this. 150 is the 200-day moving average. 153 is the 50-day moving average. 154.9 is the 100-day moving average. It's got an absolute wall in front of it here. So for me, if there is some kind of pump here this afternoon or something into this Asia session, I'm looking for a rejection in that zone. Then perhaps we can start looking at some kind of move. But right now, there's a massive wall here in front of Solana. And, I'm leaning bearish on this thing until we start breaking through this region. Once we crack this area, we can get super excited. Once we blow the zone, then we're going to look for some proper bullish buys here on these areas as support. But right now for me, we got to clear these areas. We got to take out 154, 155. If we can break that convincingly, then I can say, okay, bull hat is on for Sol and let's go. But right now, big resistance here in front of us, and look out. And I see Juma says, false move week beginning happens usually at the start of the Asia session. Yes, guys, this is something we discuss on Sniper Club on our Sunday night sessions. Now, remember, directly after the show, I have a private Sniper Club Zoom session that we do with the guys, with DJ and David and myself, and we plan the week ahead. We look at a ton of setups and we try and cater for any pumps or dumps leading into the Asia session. So if you want a piece of that action, you want to join us, there is a link in the description for Sniper Club. Go and grab that. It's in the show description there, and come and hang out with us. We're doing it tonight, about an hour after the show is done. We're going to nail that. So, Sol traders, just to recap here, bearish for me. We've got to blow this big resistance band. We've got to take out 154, 155. If we can break that convincingly, then we are on. Okay, right now, I'm a little bit cautious on Solana. We can see our support levels. If you're watching Sol, 136. And lower down, 130. These are the levels I would watch now in the next 24 hours, 130, 136. And I see Bruce is here as well. Bruce, what's happening? Come and jump in the back if you want, and tell us if you're trading Sol at the moment. Okay, Zuzu. Okay, he's a big trader on Twitter. I mean, look at this guy. He's got a P&L of $21 million. Okay, he's trading against a guy called Kyle here. And Kyle's got minus $6 million. So he's sweating bullets at the moment. But Suzu, long Tao at 290. Okay. But yeah. Okay. So, I mean, look, he's $21 million up. I mean, we got to listen to the man. But we took this Tao trade not too long ago, and we are now at TP. So we're actually going to close. Well, I'm going to close my Tao trade at the moment. Again, it depends on his time frame. I mean, this guy might be buying at spot, and he might be looking at a 3-month view. I was looking at a short-term leverage trade for leverage traders. So let's look at Tao objectively, and let's try and make some decisions here, or rational decisions. So number one, why do I think he's long Tao at 290? Well, the first thing you can see here is Tao on the daily has just stuck its head through the 50-day moving average. Okay, so that would make sense to me. Look at this. We've just popped this 50-day MA. Okay, so that is a good sign. And that is what I was looking for on Solana, for example. Once we start breaking the 50-day MA, the 200-day MA, those type of things, then we can start turning bullish. So maybe that was a trigger for him, that we're breaking that 50-day moving average. So let's see. Okay, but what do I see at the moment on the daily? And we can see we are in big resistance bands now currently for Tao. So if you're trading spot, okay, if you want to hold your spot bags, your buys typically on all of these altcoins that I've shown you for the last 2 weeks, since we had that massive dump, have been any pullbacks to your 382 fibs, any pullbacks to 618. Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, I understand the resistance bands, but why do we have resistance on the likes? Can we figure that out?
Listen to the man in the goggles. Listen to this man. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like. hit the subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget, I'm on Banter Plus Monday to Friday. Come and hang out with me. Monday to Friday, I'm there giving you these setups, and you would have got that tile setup. We waited the whole week last week to nail tile, which we did, and that was one of the setups we looked at. We were very patient on this trade, but let's just look at this. If you're a spot trader for tower, okay, any buyers for you, 260, 222, okay, these are bullish pullback areas. These are your zones, okay? You buy on these areas, you're looking for bigger targets, okay? Your target for tower is going to be 435, somewhere in that region. What does that look like? Well, when we start breaking this trend, naturally, the whole world is going to be turning super bullish on this thing. At some point, we're going to get our retest, and then we're going to fire that thing up. So right now, for me, tower, I'm closing my leverage trade here right now because we are at a resistance band. But as far as spot traders are concerned, you can buy this thing on 260. You can buy this thing at 222. And look, this gent's he bought this thing at 290. He's got a $21 million P&L. Who are we to argue that something is at resistance or not? So let him do his thing. Spot traders, you can see your target here on this chart. If we break this trend, this thing is cooking. And then on lower time frames, let me just show you what is going on here. So we can see on the daily chart, this thing is at daily trend resistance. If we go back to the short-term chart that we took this trade off recently, you look at this. We've got a 618 rejection happening. Right. Oh, hello, sir. He's here.
You said, hey. So, hey.
Welcome. Step into my office. Ranga Guruji says he loves the work from Sri Lanka. Hey, Sri Lanka, what's going on there, bro?
Sri Lanka.
Got to work on that cricket, though, these Sri Lankans. They're not doing well at the moment. They need to do a little bit better. So Bruce,
okay.
What are you trading anything today? What's going on?
No, your analysis of Solana was like, I just got up. It's morning for me, so I'm eating breakfast and drinking coffee. And I look at Solana, and it's exactly like it did break through, but why would you want to trade along where it's got resistance after resistance after resistance?
Super bearish there. Yeah.
It's like, wait for it to play out, and you got a much safer and much more profitable trade.
Yeah,
right now.
so I mean, you're looking at that chart, and like for me, I also got mixed sentiment at the moment. I'm not super bullish. I'm not super bearish. I'm just like the market's a bit at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
the only one I
explain.
thought that had a little bit of room was TIA. If the market pumps, he's got 6% before it's going to hit anything resistance. But everything else it looked like today, I think it's starting to push up. But boy, it's right up against a wall with another wall behind it. It's like,
yeah. Well, this is exactly why I want to bank some profits here on this tower.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just to recap. So, guys, I mean, hopefully some of you guys took this tower trade with me. I mean, we teed this thing up for 7 days. Okay, I really hope some of you guys got this thing. Just a reminder, we got this off. We waited for it from here. Okay, we were sitting here very patiently, and we waited. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and here we go. We got our dump. We got a 382 fib. We got our anchored VWAP as well. Okay, it hit our zone. It's fired off for us. And as a leverage trade, I mean, we got to be happy with this move. I mean, we've got a roughly 14% move. And look where this thing is rejecting off the 618. Okay. So, typical TP zone, right? I mean,
take your profit.
So there it is. Okay, so here's my tower trade. We nailed the trade, and we're going to close this one on ZoomX. There we go. Okay, so it's closed at 618 resistance. There'll be another. Okay, there's another trade tomorrow. There's something else. Okay, so we'll wait for our next one, guys. And if you want banging entries like this, okay, I'll get another tower entry for you guys. Just hang out with me on Banter Plus Monday to Friday. We'll tee a few up. Bruce is in Sniper Club. If you want action on Sniper Club, this is the man. Okay, this is the legend. Killing it in there, and even so fresh in the morning, he's ready to go. Okay, Bruce, I'm cracking on with some more charts here.
Keep going. You here?
Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Bring us something, okay? Drink the coffee and bring us an entry on something, okay? You've got 7 minutes.
Just started looking at it. I go look at it.
Okay, we're gonna bring Bruce back. Okay, he's gonna bring us an entry, but you got to like it. Okay? You got to like the man. We don't bring him out here if they aren't likes. Okay, okay. So tower, you've covered. We've closed tower. You know why I've closed it. Okay, short term 618 resistance zone. Higher time frame trend resistance, all those types of things. So for me, I'm done with tower. I'm closing that one for now. We'll find a new entry. You can see I'm still sitting in a cash position, and this one is still ticking over. I mean, this thing is also it's been pretty choppy. This thing is now $21,000 this position, and it's been in a very, very tight range at the moment. You can see, look at this. I put this little range together for you guys just to get an idea as to what CAS is up to, but it's a tiny little range here. Look at this thing. We've got about a 2.6% range at the moment. So there's a lot of consolidation happening here for CAS. Is there, or is this a sign that a massive move is coming? You know, we don't know if it's to the upside or to the downside, but when you get this type of rangy situation happening, you know, technically or typically, we get some kind of blowout at some point. So watching this one carefully, you can see I'm sitting in that position. My ultimate lows here for me, 161. Okay, so if we do drift lower here, 161, that looks like a zone of interest for me. This would be our range low here that we're watching at the moment. We've also got a 618 fib in the way. We've also got the 100-day moving average here at 161. You can see that anchor VWAP is sitting there. So it's an area, okay? It's an area of interest here where we could get some kind of bounce. So cash traders, if you're looking for action, 161, I would say, look for a bounce there. You can see on Friday, we got the bounce over here. That thing fired off from there. I would expect some kind of reaction down there in this region as well, okay? And then if you do, you can see what's going on here. They're trying to fight this thing. If you do start reclaiming here, get a little bit of structure, then you can start looking maybe at extra longs. But for me, you can see here, my stop is actually at 161. I'm going to have to adjust that one a little bit lower. Oh, no, there, it's just below the 618. Okay, so my stop is actually good. My stop on the chart is there, okay, right here. That is where my stop is sitting at the moment. Okay, so then we should be relatively risk-free there on CAS. Okay, now, 𝗀𝗲𝗓𝗓, he says, his name is 𝗀𝗲𝗓𝗓, 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓. Okay, he says, you have no idea how happy this makes me. And I wasn't sure what he was referring to exactly. I bet he's saying, bring back the utility coins. Now, look at Litecoin. Okay, 11% up. Look at Phantom and look at 𝗛𝗓𝗓. And I thought, let's look at these coins. Okay, we know Phantom's been doing well, but Litecoin and 𝗛𝗓𝗓 have been completely off my radar lately. So let's deal with some of the coins that he's talking about. Number one, let's deal with Phantom, because we've been talking about Phantom this week. We actually spoke about Phantom on Friday, and we grabbed a long on Phantom on that drop. On Friday, we had Andy from 𝗬𝗥 here, and I said I was waiting for a 𝗬𝗥 trade, and when Phantom hit that zone, I was going to take the trade, and that's exactly what we did there. So let's look at Phantom number one on the daily, and you can see what's going on here. We are fighting this downtrend. We've got a very clear downtrend here on Phantom at the moment, and we want to just be watching our key supports, and our key supports on daily time frame, 35. Okay, that's the buy zone for me, 35, and then a little bit lower down, 315. Okay, so anywhere in this box, so I said to you guys on Friday, anywhere in this box is a bullish buy zone. If you have bullish bias for the next few months, okay, that is where you're buying these altcoins. Okay, you're buying it down to the 618. Worst case, we're buying it at this double bottom. We'll have to deal with it when we get there. But if you have a bullish bias, it's 618 or it's this double bottom, these things have to bounce. Okay, if that is your strategy or that is your bias, then that is where you're buying it. So Phantom 35 to 315, big buy zone here for spot traders. Easy game. Okay, you can see your areas that you want to play, and your target's 43, your next target 53. Okay, nice clean targets here for you for Phantom. And then smaller time frame, you can see what is going on here. On Friday, live on the show, we were getting this bleed out in the market. We were watching it. I was saying I was looking for a bounce here in this region. Okay, there were a couple of reasons why, but it was the 382, it was the horizontals in play, and we also had this anchored VWAP pushing up slowly. So for me, this was going to be a zone of interest. Okay, so Phantom, and you can see your support level now is 35. Okay, this is short-term leverage traders now. So if you got this bounce on Friday with me, this is your big support. 3513 is what you're watching. What I am also, or what I do have my eyes on here at the moment, is Phantom is about to lose this trend. Okay, so we've got this rising trend here. You can see this thing is starting to push higher. We have printed a lower high here, so let's just be cautious here. Let's be aware of what is going on here, and we could be in a position now where we start losing this trend and we start heading a little bit lower for that 618. So just look out for this, Phantom traders. Okay, you've got your main support is this 35 region. Watch this guy, watch this level. Leverage traders, spot traders, you good. 35 you buy, 316 you buy. Okay, that's a good zone there for you guys. Leverage traders, watching these areas closely. 35 316. Okay, and here is the trade that I took on 𝗬𝗥. Now I didn't get an opportunity to get more. I bought a quick buy there, and you can see my average entry there is 36, and we caught it exactly on that little bounce. So as it bounced into that zone, we jumped into that Phantom. But we're going to just track this thing. If we start losing this trend here, then it's potentially turning a little bit bearish. Most likely going to jump out of Phantom. Now, I've shown you 2 exchanges, but there's loads of things going on here in the show description. Now, ZoomX that I've just shown you, no KYC. Okay, they're doing sign-up bonuses. They're literally giving you like $20 to sign up. Just read here in the show description for you. No KYC. There's ZoomX and WeX that I've just shown you as well. You guys met Andy on Friday. He was on my show. Also, no KYC. Great exchanges. If you guys are looking for a new exchange, give one of these things a go. And they both have great interfaces. They're both very easy to use, and actually enjoying operating on these guys. Okay, now we've covered Phantom. Let's look at Litecoin. Let's look at Ghana. Okay, Litecoin traders. Woo! When last did we talk about this thing? And this is Litecoin on the weekend. We've got our eyes on, and let's just take a look. Let's just get perspective as to what is going on here. Now, Litecoin is a dino coin. This thing has been around. I mean, this is Binance, but Litecoin's been around way before this. And Binance is showing this thing from December 2017. Now, I remember at one point in somewhere in March, it was somewhere in March, April, May 2021. The guys were convinced this thing was going to $1,000. Okay. And we missed it. Okay. We missed it by, say, a few percent. Okay. Give or take. And now this thing has been grinding down. And, is this thing ever going to come back and start hitting these levels? Look at this. Look at what's going on here. So I don't have my hopes up. I don't have like super high hopes for Litecoin. But what I can do is if I look at this chart, what I can do is just to give you bull market targets. Okay. If things go apeshit and the market starts ripping, I can't see why Litecoin will suddenly start ripping. But okay, we can dream. Okay, we can have an imagination. And if we have to pull out some targets for Litecoin as to where it can go, 184, 271. Okay, those are potential extreme bull market targets for me on Litecoin. Do you agree, Raymond? Or should we just buy Celestia?
I mean, I think you should just buy Celestia at that point.
Let's see the size of the move. Okay, let's see the size of this move. Okay, if you own Litecoin right now, 180%. Okay, and that's dreaming. Okay, another 315%. That is really dreaming. Okay, I think there are better trades out there. Okay, but if you have bags and bags of Litecoin, there's a little bit of bull source. When we do go extreme bull market, these are reasonable targets on any chart. Okay, the 382 fib, the 618 fib. So go Litecoin 184, Litecoin 271. Those are targets of interest to me. And let's zoom in. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a more dialed in look here. Let's look at Litecoin on the daily, because we have seen this thing pumping. And I think, to be fair, let's give it some credit. It had a nice little move up. Let's see the size of this pumpage, 36%. Okay, that's not great. We saw Popcat do 160%. Okay, we saw Solana do 43. We saw AVAX do 40-odd%. We saw a ton of these with big recovery. So Litecoin, we can't get that excited about Litecoin at the moment. And telling once again, we are crashing against the 50-day moving average. Okay, so Litecoin, I would say we can start getting a little bit more bullish on Litecoin when we start popping the 50-day and when we start popping this trend. So Litecoin around 69, 70 starts becoming a little bit more bullish for me. I'd be looking for something along these lines here. So Litecoin, let's see if we can I help you, sir?
The only time it would pump is when we have the proof of work narrative going on in the market. So when Bitcoin's pumping and Costa's pumping, yeah, Litecoin will pump too. Anything that's proof of work.
There you go. So here's a little support band for you guys, Litecoin traders. Okay, 66 to 67. Let's see if we can blow this region convincingly. And I'm saying convincingly. I want to see a big candle here. I want to push through this region over here. Look for that little rejection at that 100-day moving average at 73. But then you've got something to work with. Okay, you've got 67 to 69 as your support base that you can launch from. Okay, if you believe Litecoin can launch, okay, that is your support region. Right now for me, resistance band, not super interested. And if you look at this thing on the weekly, like I've explained to you guys, I think there could be better trades. I think you could just buy Rune, for example. That thing will send. I think you buy Arwe. I think you just buy Injective if you want 300%, those type of things. So I think there are better trades, but Litecoin might be a good story. It might be a good story to tell the grandkids. Who knows that you had the dust coin and it moved. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at another dusty. Okay, absolute dog shit, Gala. And this is Gala on the weekly and feeling the pain. I mean, we're back at the bear market extreme lows. We're back at the levels when there was so much FUD around Gala. Remember, the team was fighting and all these types of things, and Gala was getting rinsed and wrecked left, right, and center. I mean, this was pain for Gala. And back at these lows now at 0.013. Okay, 0.013. This is Gala I'm looking at on the weekly. So let's just highlight this box so that we understand exactly our playing field here. You can see we are borderline on this weekly support base here. Look at that. So we've actually got two little levels here. We actually lost this level at one point. Look at this thing. We lost this thing. So this is your next support base here for Gala. And for me, yeah, like, I mean, at some point, this gaming narrative picks up again, okay? And the market understands Gala. They understand a few of the oldies, like IMX, some of the other guys. So Gala will move, okay? When the gaming narrative moves, Gala will move. You just grab a gaming token. This thing will pump for you. I think there's better pumpers out there. But Gala, you know, absolute lows for me. We're sitting at an interesting level. If you are holding spot, there's no reason to sell this thing now, okay? If you're holding spot Gala, you add some here where you are. You add some lower down at 0.013. And, I mean, you've ridden this thing all the way down, okay? Look at this. Look at this move here from, when was this? This was our March highs, okay? So don't think we can't go back to March highs, okay? We're in a small little dip, 84%, little dippy on Gala, 84% little pullback. And, you know, I would expect if this thing turns bullish again, simple game plan, you can just look at some fibs from here. And, you know, I would expect Gala's going back to 41. I would expect Gala's going back to 59. It's just a matter of time. Okay, if you're trying to time it for a leverage trade, well, you can see your big levels. I've just highlighted them for you. If you're buying it for spot, you can see your big levels. I've highlighted for you, and you can see the upsides pretty clear. This is a nice horizontal here for us. Look at this big level here. I would expect a big rejection in that area as well if Gala does pump. But there, 150%, 270% to the highs. So yes, that's already looking like a better trade than Litecoin for me, for example. Okay, so, you know, Gala could be a better mover. So watch that thing to 41, 42, somewhere in that region. Interesting levels of support here. We at the absolute bear market lows. Can it go lower? Yes. Okay. Will it pump when the market turns bullish? Yes, it will. So, you know, at some point this thing reverses and you do get sorted out. Okay, here is Rune. And I've shorted this thing again. Okay, so still looking for lower on Rune. And again, my reasons explained last week. I was pretty clear as to why, you know, these areas in general were bearish for me, especially after a strong pump on Rune. And you can see here is our weekly downtrend that you can see we're rejecting it at the moment. And this is on the daily that I'm watching. Let's just zoom back into the 4 hour. And this was my last short level for Rune. So my first short level for Rune was this horizontal. Okay, this was the first region here. We were watching this zone here. You can see why that was interesting. 50-day MA and all these types of things. And then I was looking for a fake out into the 618. Okay, we've got the 618 and trend in the way. Okay, so yes, high risk play, granted. If the market falls over, you look like a hero and Rune goes to zero with everything else. Okay, the market rips, well, Rune's going to then start breaking trends. But what I can see in front of me right now, 618 resistance band, trend resistance in this area. On the daily, it's going to look like a fake out into the 618 and then a big rejection. Your invalidation is so easy. Your invalidation is so clean. So for me, I had to have a go here. And your risk from the entry was a little bit higher up, but the risk is about 2%. If you're looking at it now, your risk is about 3.5%. Okay, potential downside targets for Rune, for me, 3.4. So it's about a 14% that you can look at, but there's going to be some traffic in the way. So about 7% for your first one, 3.7, and then you're looking at about 3.4. So if that is going to play out, that is typically what we're going to look for. You can see we've got this channel as well. Okay, so you can see there's tons of resistance in the way, looking for something along these lines, and then slowly just make our way down. Okay, so that's the bear case for Rune. Now, naturally, this thing could absolutely rip. And if it does rip, you can turn bullish again when we start breaking this trend, and you can start reassessing. So here is the Rune short that I'm sitting in at the moment. And you can see on the lower time frames, why this was interesting to me. We've printed that lower high. Okay, so this is what I like. So we had our initial pump into that high. Now we've rejected at the lower high, and things are looking interesting for me. Okay, so now we're looking for lower. If we print a new low here, then we can press. Then we can add some more to that short, and we can send that thing back to hell. And but right now, you know, Rune's been one of the few bullish movers in the last couple of days relative to some of the other alts that have all dipped down onto 618s. We've seen Phantom push up, we've seen Rune push up, and maybe it's time for a little reset here on Rune. But time will tell. Let's see how that is going to play out. So right now in a short zone. And then, guys, what I've been doing every day is getting you guys to put your comments after the show. You write the charts you want me to look at. And after every show, if you do that for me, me and Ray can look at the charts. Then we can prep 2 for you every day. Okay, so I've got 2 charts that you guys wanted last week for me. And the first one is HNT. Now, this thing's had tons of attention lately. And now let's get a clean chart here and let's chart this for you guys and just take a look as to what is going on. And I'll show you my process and what I like to look at. So the first thing I'm going to do here on HNT and is look at the weekly. Let's try and figure out what is going on. Now, we know there's tons of bullish news behind HNT. I think there was a deal with some cell phone companies and things like that. Maybe Bruce or Ray knows a little bit about it, but there's definitely something going on there, and things have turned a little bit bullish. So
I've been a helium miner for almost 3 years now. I love that. If the Internet of Things is going to be huge, as it rolls out, helium will be the leader in it. So keep it going.
Okay. So this chart does look pretty bullish, Bruce?
Oh, yeah.
We've broken a trend. This is the weekly. Okay, so this is something to take note of. When you start breaking weekly trends, you need to pay attention here. And for me, HNT on the weekly is looking pretty interesting. Okay, the first one for me, you can see we've got a nice little trend break here. Okay, that's a good start. We've also broken through the 200-day moving average, which is massive for these altcoins. Okay, the 200-day MA is a massive thing for these alts. And we've also broken through the 50-day moving average. Look at the 50-day moving average down here, holding up the lows. So far, I would say HNT is a spot buy. And especially with all the news floating around on this thing, you've got great support down to 6, even down to 5.5. This looks like a nice little buy zone. And I think, there's some massive targets here as well. So I would say, this is a vibe. Okay, if you're looking for spot buys. I would like to get it lower.
The other thing that Helium did is they switched from HNT Beyond Network. They switched the whole thing over to Solana, which is
big news.
Where they're going. Yeah.
So if we're going to go and just take out these highs, you can see what's going on here. There's a 67% play here on HNT just to take out the highs. That's not even getting, it's not even getting aggressive. It's not even getting moon boyish here. We're just looking, we're looking at a move to the highs here. So there's a potential 67% here on helium. I would say ideally you want to get this thing on pullbacks. You don't want to buy this thing on green. You want to get this thing on the next big red candle. If you can get this at 6, you get this at 6 to 6.1, somewhere in that region, I would say that's pretty decent looking chart. And it's such a clean exit. Okay, if you lose the close under the 200-day MA, then you're potentially turning bearish and then you can bail. Okay, but for me, spot trade, I like it. Okay, so thanks for that token, guys, whoever dropped that in. And then there was another one, TON. Another one you guys wanted was TON. And don't forget, guys, just drop the tokens in the comments. I'll cover 2 of them tomorrow on Banter Plus tomorrow. So TON, looking a bit bearish now. Okay, so, this is a typical altcoin play here. We have a fake out through a big horizontal zone. So TON, this is TON on the 4-hour, big little push. What did they do? Fake out through the 50-day MA and the 100-day MA. So it wasn't a convincing break. It wasn't a convincing retest. This thing actually failed. And now we've lost that zone. Okay, we've come back. We've retested it once, rejected. Retested it again, busy with a rejection now. Let's see where this candle closes. Okay. Right now, looking relatively bearish. This looks like a trend break, possible retest there, and then a dip. So eyes on TON here. Okay, I think you get a better entry.
Yeah.
So bullish on TON, 100%. Short term, maybe a little bit bearish. I think that's the fair assessment. But it is notable, guys. This 382 and this anchored VWAP and the horizontals. Look at this nice little zone. So when we start losing the 6.35, look how nicely this little anchored VWAP has held TON. Okay, so super bearish when we start losing that little area there. Then we start turning even more bearish. Look at this little VWAP here, holding this thing up all the way here, looking nice. Okay, so when we start losing that VWAP, then we're getting even more bearish on TON. So right now, watching 6.36 down to 6.27. Watch this little region here as support. If you lose that, we're turning more bearish. Okay, then we're looking for new longs on TON, and we'll probably pick it up this week on my show. So just stay tuned on Banter Plus. The same way we got that Tower, we're going to look for a long down here. Then if we do start dipping, we're going to look for some kind of long here on TON. But you watch my show daily. We'll keep you posted. We'll have a few setups that we are planning and we are brewing. And we'll see what we can do. Let's see what I haven't even spoken to my people in the chats. But Juma's talking about a bull moon to the rescue. Okay, that's a great start. I mean, when we're relying on the moon to save us, it's cool. It's cool.
They're asking for render.
Hey?
They want some render.
Okay, we got 2 minutes. Okay. Another one is Ondo that I've got for you guys. Again, if we look at these altcoins and we say 382 buy zone, 618 buy zone after the dump and the pump. Okay, we can't ignore Ondo. Okay, so I'm highlighting Ondo here for you guys, and there's a couple of options here. So potential leverage trade in this region. You just want to look for some structure and a break here. Okay, so potential leverage trade brewing here for Ondo for you off 0.69 with an easy invalidation. Your candle close under 677. Okay, if your candle closes under 677, you might want to bail that one if you are on a leverage position. Your next entry zone, 62. Okay, looking for that kind of structure as well on the 62 region for Ondo. But as far as spot traders are concerned, you're buying the bullish pullback. Okay, so we had the dump. If you believe the dump was the lows for Bitcoin, if you believe the dump was the low for the altcoins, which I currently do, okay, I'm not super bearish on alts that I think they're going to lose their lows. If they do, we reassess. But right now for me, I'm looking for buys on all these alts, 382 fibs, 618 fib buy zones, and this is for spot traders. So anywhere in this box from 69 down to 62 for me is a bullish buy zone for spot traders, and we're looking for a target here on Ondo at about 92 is what we're looking at. So we're not trying to get greedy. We just want to get to our horizontal here, 50-day MA, that sort of stuff. And you just let it play out. Maybe a small little trade. And let's bang out some render then for you guys quickly.
And by the way, T is in an interesting little spot too, if you want to look at it.
Okay, so guys, here we go. So here's render. Again, typical altcoin play. What are they doing? They're retesting our 382, they're retesting our 618. So right now you can see we are in this typical downtrend that happens after things turn over, and you look for your bounces off your 382s, you look for your bounces off your 618s, and then hopefully by then you get your trend break if the market's going to remain bullish. So render for me, I mean, super bullish. Fundamentally, render, it's got to be in your portfolio. It's got to be one of your bull market tokens. It's your safest AI play, right? Render, I like Banter, I like Tower with that naturally. But yeah, for me, it's a banger. So 4.47 is a buy. 4.07 is a buy for me for render. And the double bottom, if you're getting it here, like really, it just feels like it's a gift. Okay, if the market's going to uptick in the next 60 days leading into the elections, if there is going to be some kind of market push, you don't want to miss that opportunity to buy render at 4.47, 4.07. 3.6. These are all buy zones here for you. And, if the market turns bullish like it did in March, let's just remind you where we are and what happened here in March. Look at this thing. Okay, this is January to March. Render did. Okay, there was tons of news with Apple and whatever. But look at January to March, rendered at 280%. Okay, let's say we dip down here and we lead into the elections and we get a small little pump, okay, to the 200-day MA. There's still 114% there for you on render. Okay, so possible play there. And then Celestia, I can't believe we're talking about this thing, Bruce.
Yeah. You want to take a look? I see a really trade there.
Bring it up. Show me your chart. Bruce with Celestia.
If you would like.
Save the Celestia traders.
Yeah, so you've got fairly well-defined areas, which I love. I mean, you got a lot of support right there, turns into resistance over there, turns back into support right over there, and we're back at that level again. We broke through the local trend line. We pushed up a little bit, which is cool, and coming back and retesting it. So this region right over there is riped up to pick up a short-term. If we lose this level, then you'll pick it up down to those support levels at 4.5. But right now, anywhere from 5.1 at the high end to 5.0 at the low end would be a great place to potentially pick.
So there's a little scalpy trade there. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, little scalpy for the degens.
Yeah, look, if you push up from here, you're going to run some resistance at that resistance level right there, which is exactly the 382 in that horizontal. I'm sorry, that that trend line, which is pretty old. And if it breaks through that, then your next level of resistance is the 618 and the 50-day moving average and that resistance level to find there. So it's a really clearly marked out thing. I mean, if you only pick up 7%, 6-7 on the scalp, that's a happy thing. If the market turns somewhat bullish, you can target an extra couple percent for that. But even that right there, that'd be sweet for this market, 7%.
Nice. There you go. The shittest coin in history, Celestia. Yep. Me and Ray's favorite. If there's a trade, there's a trade. Okay, guys, you see this little comment here below from Menia Case. He says, my two favorite traders with great positive attitude. Now, last week I was saying, okay, if this market is going to fall over, one thing that I can guarantee you is I'm not going anywhere. Okay, if Bitcoin's at 20K, I'll be here trading these shit coins with you. So, you want that community, we here for you. If you want an even better community, come to Sniper Club. There's Bruce. Look at this man. What a lovely man. Okay, you get to interact with him in the Sniper Club and the massive team in there. He'll guide you through hell, okay? And he'll look after you.
We're always there.
Bruce, thanks for hanging. Thanks for jumping on.
Which Dylan got to a Sniper Club. Dylan is the heart and soul of all the hard work that we do. I mean, he's always there for us. Always there. I mean, in the middle of the night, if the market makes a change, Dylan shows up. My favorite Zoom that we do every week is going to happen in a couple hours with DJ and Dave and Dylan kind of give that market perspective for the week. That's my favorite one to join in. So
banger. Yeah, guys, there's a banger coming in about 30 minutes. We're doing a live session on Sniper Club. Bruce, see you later.
Thank you, my brother.
Guys, remember, you'll find me on Banter Plus Monday to Friday. Good market, bad market, whatever market, I'm here. Okay, we're going to trade these shit coins, long, short, whatever, and we're going to have a laugh doing it as well. So catch me there, Monday to Friday. Let's get out of here. See you guys tomorrow, Banter Plus. Ciao.